Are you tired of traditional sports? Do you wish polo had more goat carcasses in it? Do you yearn for the chance to carry your woman over your shoulder through an obstacle course? Well, if you're looking for brand new bizarre sports to play or watch, today we present to you the top 27 most bizarre sports. Finish. What would happen if you took the majestic image of a galloping horse and replaced it with the awkward stance of a Segway? Well, you'd have Segway Polo, basically making Paul Blart a sports star. The sport was popularized by the Bay Area Segway Enthusiast Group in 2004 and utilizes the same rules as regular polo. I think it sounds pretty awesome, and I'm pretty sure that I would have chosen my team name to be the Segwa Genesis. Not quite as preppy as polo, but it certainly has some resemblance. It's the game of Buzkashi, which entails dragging a goat carcass across a goal line while riding a horse. The game dates back to 10th century Afghanistan and is still being played today. A less carcassy version is played in the United States, which replaced the dead goat with a sheep-skinned ball. Looking for a less expensive Uber ride? Well, if you live in Finland, you could be in luck, because there you can participate in the time-honored sport of wife carrying. To play, simply find yourself a dude to carry you over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes through obstacles ranging from log hurdles to sand traps and water hazards. It's like a real-life version of Tarzan. Rocky meets searching for Bobby Fischer in the sport of chess boxing. Played in Germany, participants alternate rounds of the classic board game and rounds of squaring up and taking punches. Checkmate! Adrian! I can't do it, that's terrible. Adrian! Adrian! Do you love cheese? I mean, really love cheese. To the point of risking bodily harm? Then it's time to head over to the United Kingdom to participate in the annual cheese roll. In this sport, a cheese wheel is rolled down a hill while players sprint down the hill after it. The first one to reach the wheel goes home with the tasty cheese. And I really wish like every meal was like this. We could have beef jerky rolls, we could have hamburger rolls, we could have lobster rolls. Another British staple, which will double for trust building, is the delicate sport of egg tossing. It's exactly what it sounds like. And to get more info on the world's best players, Google World Egg Throwing Championship. Things get extreme. If cheese rolling and egg tossing seem to be too quaint for you, Britain's not done yet. They've also got the brutal sport of Shin Kicking. The rules are pretty straightforward. Kick your opponent in the shins until he or she drops to the ground. The winner gets a Percocet and a trophy. Taking the wrinkles out of your shirt, boring you to death. Need a little challenge in your life? Look no further. Our next sport, extreme ironing. In this game/chore, participants take to the whitewater rapids, snowy mountaintops, and other extreme locations to finally get that perfect press. Hockey on an ice rink. So last year, all the cool kids are melting that ice and playing a few rounds of underwater hockey instead. Also known as octopush, this sport requires players to push a hockey puck across the floor of a pool and into the opposing team's goal while being submerged underwater. Thumb wrestling was good for long car rides with siblings, but taking it to the next level, we present to you toe wrestling. No socks, no shoes, just foot-on-foot competition. Totally awesome. Combining the puppy bowl with horse dressage, we get musical canine freestyle, which you might presume is a rap battle for dogs, but it's actually the world's most adorable sport. Participants perform a choreographed dance with their four-legged friends in an act that will melt your cold, black heart. Competitions are currently taking place in the US, Canada, Great Britain, and Japan. Taking Thanksgiving dinner into the realm of competition, we have gravy wrestling. In this sport/food mashup, people young and old, and of all different shapes and sizes, attempt to subdue one another over a shallow pool of gravy. This could be the perfect sport to be paired with the turkey trot. If you like your sports a little more deathier, then head over to Indonesia for Ramadan. To celebrate the Muslim holiday, participants take part in the friendly game of Fireball. It's basically a typical game of soccer, except for the slight difference of the ball being fully engulfed in flames. Needless to say, penalty kicks have taken on a whole new meaning. I would guess our next sport took flight after some extreme sports athletes sat down for beers sitting on stools. The sport, called Sporthocking, combines skateboarding, parkour, and sitting down on a stool. The sport sees athletes utilizing a simple two-sided stool to pull off a line of tricks that ends when they sit down. In Sri Lanka, they take pillow fighting to a whole new level by adding a balance beam and a river to the mix. Keeping one hand behind their backs, opponents beat one another senselessly until someone falls into the river below. It's kind of like American Gladiator meets gymnastics meets American Ninja Warrior meets this is going to be totally awesome. If wrestling, tag, and capture the flag all got thrown into a stew and cooked up, it would create Kabaddi. In this sport, teams send a raider into the opposition's court with the objective of touching an opposing team member and then returning to their home court, all while holding their breath. However, once the raider makes contact, the opposing team is allowed to tackle him to prevent him from escaping. Blacking out does not constitute a timeout. If you're totally into fencing, but don't want to get stabbed in the neck, check out finger jousting. In this sport, opponents lock hands with their pointer fingers extended. Players score points by touching their opponents with said finger without breaking the hold. The sport is quite popular considering there is a finger jousting federation. A federation! Can't choose between water skiing and just regular old skiing? No worries. There's a new sport called Skijoring. Skijoring involves a skier being pulled by dogs, horses, or motorized vehicles. Gravity was just, always holding us down anyways. In the realm of new combination cold action sports is ice surfing. Ice surfing utilizes a windsurfing board with ice skates attached. Done correctly, you can reach speeds of up to 70 miles per hour. If skiing and snowboarding aren't your thing, pick up a kayak for snow kayaking. It's exactly what it sounds like. Taking your kayak to the top of a mountain and, just going for it. Paddles appear to be more of like a moral support thing than a steering thing. If you're looking for an action-packed, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sport to watch, worm charming probably isn't it. Unless it's the worms from Tremors, but that's a whole different story. This sport began as a way for fishermen to collect bait and eventually turned into a real sport. The worm charming world record is held by a 10-year-old, Sophie Smith of Williston, England, who raised 567 worms during Britain's World Worm Charming Championship. If the raw intensity of summoning worms from the ground is just too much for you, then maybe check out the Suriname sport of bird chirping. Two competitors face off with their own caged birds, typically in a local park. One chirp equals 1 point. High-intensity chirping ensues. For those who fantasize about joining their wet clothes in the dryer, we have the sport for you! It's called Zorbing. Participants climb into a giant plastic ball and then roll down a hill, which is very likely to induce a fair amount of vomiting from the ride. Nothing makes a sport better than being tossed in your own vomit. Right? And you know what? They really had a chance here, too, to call the sport extreme hamster balling. The Kia crew could have been the mascots. It's a real missed opportunity there. Though often thought of as a childhood means of irritating siblings, pea shooting is also a serious sport, depending on how strict your definition of serious is. This sport involves firing a dried pea through a small tube towards an archery-style target. The World Pea Shooting Championships are held every year in Witcham, United Kingdom, where 2016 champion Michelle Berry used a laser shooter made by her father. That's unbelievable. I'm pretty sure this next one started as a series of attempts to leave a desert island or a maximum security prison. Embracing their full 007-ness, these participants drive a homemade flying device off of a 30-foot pier into the water below to see who can go the furthest. We're talking about Red Bull's Flugtag, which is of course German for flight day. Very few actually fly, with the record going to the Chicken Whisperer's flight of 258 feet in 2013. If you can't leave work, but you still want to engage in a sport, no sweat. We've got Faceball. This sport was popularized by two people working in the San Francisco offices of Flickr. The rules are quite simple. Two opponents face one another while sitting in chairs set 10 feet apart. Each player continues to throw the ball at his opponent's face until he misses, with each hit counting as 1 point. An alternative name for this sport is, I've given up on work and I'm okay with being fired. And last, but certainly not least, there's the USARPS, the United States Association of Rock, Paper, Scissors, which is the official RPS league of the United States. The league held a championship in 2006, which hosted over 250 players and was sponsored by Bud Light. The winner even received $50,000, and the tournament was shown on A&E. See, in America, anything is possible. If you like this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up in the comment section below. Let me know which one of these sports was like the most bizarre. You were like, man, I really like that. I really want to play that one day. You're just like, what? I can't believe they did that. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit it right now. We have new videos every Tuesday, and I'll see you guys really soon.